Okay, so good day to everyone. Today, let's try to discuss about the first part of mathematics as a tool. So this will be a PowerPoint. This will be very different from your given module na binigay ko sa inyo para mas may interaction na mangyari. Okay, so for the first part, we have the mathematics as a tool, part 1. So ito ginamit ng online class kasi. So we might speak the online class for here. So we need to start with a definition of terms related to statistics. So here, the student should be able to, at the end of this lesson, you should be able to differentiate samples from population. B. Classify data as either quantitative or qualitative. C. Determine whether a variable is discrete or continuous. And lastly, identify the levels of measurement. So I hope everyone will watch this video because if time permits, kapag mag-meet na tayo, mag-a-activity tayo. So I am expecting everyone na knowledgeable na kayo sa lesson na ito. Okay? So statistics is defined as the science of collection, presentation, analysis, and interpretation of numerical data. So what is statistics? The definition includes four terms. Number one, how do we collect data? Number two is presentation of data. Number three, analysis of data. And number four is interpretation of data. So we have the two divisions of statistics. We have the descriptive and the inferential. So number one, descriptive statistics, it involves the collecting, organizing, describing, summarizing, and presenting of gathered data in a meaningful and informative way. So it focuses on the numerical data of our sample. So when we are using descriptive statistics, ito yung gagamit tayo ng pie chart, bar chart. It is how do we explain or describe the given outputs or collected data from our respondents. Parang yung pinapagawa ko sa activity ninyo na limited lamang dapat siya sa descriptive statistics. Meaning to say, you are only describing. Okay? So, number two is we have the inferential statistics. So, it refers to the process of drawing conclusion and making decision on the population based on evidence obtained from a sample using the techniques of descriptive statistics. So, it focuses on the population. Ito namang inferential statistics, ito na yung gagamit tayo ng mas advanced na statistical tools in order for us to conclude kung ano yung binibigay sa ating data. So dito na gagamitin natin yung t-test, ANOVA, and many more. So ito naman yung inferential statistics. So ito sa image makita natin na descriptive statistics used to describe. So we are only describing, organizing, and summarizing information. Pero pag inferential naman, so we are generalizing about a population based on a sample data. So magkaiba yun descriptive and inferential. So ito yung mga gagawin natin as activities and we need to identify following as either descriptive or inferential statistics. Example, sa number 1. Number 1 is the average salary of a random sample of 100 high school teachers in 2020 was greater than the average salary of a random sample of 100 electricians. So, is it inferential or descriptive? So, for number 1, this is inferential. Bakit siya inferential? Kasi gumamit siya ng sample averages to compare to population. So, meron siyang dalawang sample averages para ma-compare niya yung dalawang population. How about si number 2? The mean salary of a random sample of a 60 college instructor in 2020 was 54,820. So this one is descriptive because it is only reporting a sample mean. Number 3 naman, in 2030, Santiago City's population is expected to be 1.2 million. So this is inferential because it predicts a future population value. Number 4, so in a math test, 32 out of 40 students were able to receive a passing mark. So the average of the class is 82 out of 100. So this is descriptive. It describes actual data from the group. Meaning to say, parang dinedescribe niya na lang na the average of the class is 82 out of 100. Number 5, a recent survey of 2,000 adults having an MBA reported that the average salary is more than 65,000 a year. So for number 5, this is inferential. It uses a sample to make a claim about MBA adults in general. Number 6, this is inferential because it states a probability or a likelihood. So it is not describing a collected data. Ano? So number 7 naman is the senior citizens that live in Florida have better memories than the one that live in Texas. So this is inferential because it claims one population is better than another based on data. Number 8 naman, inferential pa rin to. So it predicts a behavior of a population. So parang sinasabi niya na 10% of college students are predicted to travel out of the, parang pine-predict niya na sa mga college students, 10% sa kanila ay magta-travel out of the country, which is a type of inferential statistics kasi it predicts behavior of a population. Number 9, from a past study, it was found that APR of a certain credit card average 12.83. Number 9 is descriptive. So it reports a result of a past study or a actual data. And lastly, number 10, so a recent study showed that eating garlic can lower blood pressure. So this is inferential. So it is making a general conclusion about effect of garlic. So yun, iikot lang yung parang magiging activity or exam or quiz nyo sa mga topics na ganito. So you are only to identify if it is descriptive or inferential. So take note always that descriptive, it is only describing. Kapag inferential naman, parang ganito sa number 10, it is making a general conclusion about effect. Or pwedeng it predicts a behavior. So pwede rin i-claim niya na one population is better than the other, therefore it is a inferential statistics. Categories of data, we have the qualitative. So from the word itself, quali, meaning to say it pertains to the qualities. So it uses non-parametric statistics, meaning to say hindi siya numerical. So cannot be subjected to meaningful arithmetic. Parang ito, ID number, age group. Ito yung mga qualitative, skin color, mga ganun. That is qualitative. Kapag quantitative naman, so ito na yung numerical in nature. Yung parang ginagawa nyo ngayon na data gathering, collecting of data, kapag it pertains to numerical values, pwedeng gawan siya ng meaningful arithmetic. It involves numbers and can be obtained by counting or measuring. So, another one, kapag it is being counted, kapag nabibilang at nami-measure, meaning to say it is quantitative. Like the raw data on data smartphones owned per family. Parang pag may nakakita kayong data na ganito, like for an example, the one that you are gathering right now for your Google form, it is an example of a quantitative data. So here are some examples for quantitative. Siguro you will try i-pause nyo na lang para makita nyo yung difference. So madali lang naman i-determine kung quantitative or qualitative data. Okay? So you may pause for a while siguro while watching this video. I will not read all of them. So next, uh, here we have the types of data. Another graph ay another image. We have the qualitative. Under qualitative, meron tayong nominal, tsaka ordinal. When we say nominal, mamaya, i-discuss natin what is nominal, ordinal, what is discrete, and continuous. Ang sinasabi lang dito, kapag under qualitative, dalawa lang, nominal, tsaka ordinal. Under quantitative naman, we have the discrete and the continuous. So, ito yung explanation niya. Kapag discrete data, so, assume it is obtained by counting. Okay, ito yung mga nabibilang. Example, ilan yung kotse ng isang school. So, bibilangin, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Therefore, it is obtained by counting. Therefore, it is a discrete data. Pag sinabi naman natin continuous data, so it assumes infinite values within a specified interval and can be obtained by measurement. So, ang keyword lang naman natin dito, if it is obtained by counting, it is discrete. Kapag it is obtained by measurement, it is continuous data. So, here are some examples of discrete and continuous. So, discrete, number of eggs in a basket. So, bibilangin mo kung ilan yung eggs in a basket. Therefore, it is in, you are obtaining it by counting. Kapag ito naman sa continuous, weight difference, wind speed, water temperature, volts of electricity, kapag it is being obtained by measurement, therefore it is continuous type of data. So, let's proceed with the level of measurement. Sabi ko nga kanina, kapag under quali, it is nominal or ordinal. It can be grouped. Kapag quantitative naman, it can be measured. So, we have the interval and the ratio. So, let's move further kung anong ibig sabihin nito. Kapag nominal, example is eye color or name. Kapag ordinal naman, it is the level of satisfaction. Interval, mga temperature. Tapos ratio is height. So you can pause this video for a screenshot siguro para makita nyo mamaya kung ano yung difference niya after explaining kung ano ba yung mga to. So when we say nominal, so it consists of a finite set. When we say finite set, it can dapat may hangganan siya. So having no particular order, it classifies qualitative data into two or more categories. So it is the lowest, meaning to say siya yung pinakamababa sa levels of measurement. Example is civil status, books in the library, courses, gender, mga ganon. It is the nominal scale, meaning to say walang hindi mo siya pwedeng i-categorize. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin number 1 ang male, number 2 ang female, mas mataas ang male kaysa female, or pwede mong sabihin according to sabihin natin ethnicity. So you cannot say that one ethnicity is greater than the other. Hindi mo siya pwedeng i-rank. So it is under the nominal scale. Civil status, married, single, mga ganon, nominal scale. So it is the lowest. Pag sinabi naman ng ordinal, it can have a rank. So pwedeng may specific rank siya. Example natin dito, what is your educational background? Number 1, elementary. Number 2, high school. Number 3, undergraduate. Number 4 is graduate. Meaning to say, you can rank them accordingly. Example number 2, how do you feel today? So, pwede mo ulit siyang i-rank. Pwedeng very unhappy, unhappy, okay. Parang yung pinapagawa ko rin sa inyo na 15 Likert scale questionnaire. Meron tayong strongly disagree, disagree, agree, and strongly agree. So you can rank them. So it falls under the ordinal scale. Okay? Example is yung place after a race. So kapag tumakbo sila sa CLISOC, for example, mayroon tayong first, second, third, fourth, ganun din sa awards and actually yung awards and honors pala today in our basic ed is tinanggal na pala yung rank. Pero dati kasi may rank siya, di ba? Number 3, review natin nominal, lowest, meaning to say you can rank them. Ordinal naman, ito yung mga set of values na pwede mong i-rank or may order. Okay, so when we say interval naman, so it involves quantitative data. So it falls under the category of quantitative naman na ito. That are ranked, of course, it can be ranked. So hindi under quantitative na pwedeng ma-rank, it falls under interval scale. So there is no starting point, meaning to say wala siyang starting value. Pag sinabi natin starting value, saan ba tayo always nag-start na starting? Parang under the natural numbers. Saan magi-start ang natural numbers? Sa 1. Tapos magiging 2. Meaning to say, meron siyang starting. Dito kasi, there is no starting point for this level of measurement. It is measured along a numerical scale that has equal intervals between adjacent value. Example natin dito is Celsius temperature. So, there is no starting point ng Celsius temperature. Pwede pa nga siyang mag-negative eh. So, meaning to say, it falls under the interval scale. Number 2 is age, and number 3 is time. These are some of the examples of interval scale. Yung keyword nyo lang dito is there is no starting point for this level of measurement. Okay? So, kapag ratio naman, it does not include those characteristics of interval. So, magkalayo sila ng interval, level of measurement, but also starts at the zero value. So, it is the highest level of measurement, so it does not have any negative numerical value. Ibig sabihin nito, it has no zero, ay true zero value. Kapag nag-zero siya, meaning to say, wala siyang ibig sabihin. Example is weight. Pag sinabi ba natin zero weight, di ba? Wala siyang ibig sabihin. Next is time it takes to do a math project or the number of absences of student in a class. Okay? So, ito, it also starts at the zero value. Okay? Saan ba nag-start ang weight? Zero. Ang time, gaano mo katagal tapusin ang math project? Saan ba siya mag-start? Sa zero. Yung number of absences of students in a class, so saan ba siya mag-start? Automatic ba 1 agad? Hindi, di ba? Zero. So, meaning to say, kapag nag-start siya ng zero, it falls under ratio scale. So, yun interval scale and the ratio scale. Okay? Next, so we have next na natin to. Pwede nyong i-pause, screenshot nyo kung gusto nyong pag-aralan ito. Parang mga images lang naman siya na pertaining to the what I have discussed. Sige, pagbigyan natin. Kapag ratio scale data does not have any negative numerical values. For example, weight cannot be negative. Walang negative na weight. Parang ganun lang siya. Okay? So, identify the level of measurement of each of the following. What is your hair color? So, this is nominal. Okay? So, you can rank them. Number 2, competition placement. This is ordinal. Number 3, ordinal. Number 4, what is number 4? Balikan natin yung meaning ng number 4. Ay, ng interval. So, yung mga Celsius, mga temperature, it falls under interval. So, number 4 is interval. And lastly, we have the ratio. Kilograms. Saan ba nag-start ang kilograms? Diba sa 0. So, next, we have the definition of terms for statistics again. Number 1, we have the population. The measurable quantity is called a parameter, meaning to say the numerical value of population, meaning to say the one that describes the population in numerical terms is what you call parameter. Ito, parameter. Pag sample naman, the sample kasi is if you are extracting data from your population, it is a sample. Meaning, example, sa PLT College, that is your population. Pag kinuha mo yung buong population ng nursing, you are extracting a subset of PLT College, which is nursing. That is what you call a sample. Now, the one that is explaining the population is what you call the parameter, yung numerical niya. Pero pag numerical naman ng sample is what you call statistic. Walang S yan So the population is a complete set, meaning to say this is the one that you are studying. It is the complete. The sample is a subset of the population. So sa population, reports are a true representation of opinion. Sample naman is reports have a margin of error and confidence interval. So population, it contains all groups of a specified group. Kapag sample naman, it is a subset that represents the entire population. Magkaiba ang population sa sample Here is an image, population, sampling process, tapos sampling. Here, so there are 10,756 students enrolled in Aldersgate College. 2,983 are male. So, ano ang population natin dito? Hmm. So, ang population natin dito is students enrolled in hmm? Patay. Sorry. So, ang population natin dito is students enrolled in Aldersgate College because you are pertaining to the complete set. Ang sample natin are the males. Okay? Now, what is the numerical coefficient or numerical value of the population again? It's what you call parameter. So, ang parameter natin dito is 10,756. Ang statistic natin is 2,983 because it is the one that is explaining our sample which is male. Okay? So, ito, medyo malabo. So, kapag parameter versus statistic, kapag parameter, if you are talking about a parameter, you are talking about the whole population. Kapag statistic naman, it only describes a sample of the population. Yun yung difference niya. Balikan natin tong example natin kanina. What is our population? Students enrolled in Aldersgate College. Ano yung sample? Male. Ano ang kanyang parameter? 10,756. Ano ang kanyang statistics, sorry, 2,983. Okay, clear tayo dun naulit lang. Naulit, no? So, here we have some examples. So, identify the population and sample of the given statement. So, administrators at Riverview High School surveyed a random sample of 100 of their seniors to see how they felt about the lunch offerings at the school cafeteria. So, what is our population here? The entire population of the Riverview High School. What is our sample? Yung seniors only. So, yung seniors lang yung kinuha nila from the whole population of Riverview High School. So, yun yung ating sample. Ito naman ang population natin. High school students newspaper plans to survey local businesses about the importance of students as customer. From an alphabetical list of all local businesses, the newspaper staff choose 150 businesses at random. Of the 73 return questionnaire mailed by the staff. So, anong population natin? So, the local businesses. Lahat ng local businesses. So, ang sample naman niya is 150. Ito yung alphabetical list of all local businesses. Yun yung ating population. So, yung newspaper staff chooses 150. Yung napiling 150, ito yung kanyang sample. Okay? So, number 3, I will make this as your activity. Siguro, pag nag-face to face. Department store mail, sige, activity natin. Itong number 3 na to. Ano? So, please try to identify para mas madali na lang to tayo. Next, we have the definition of terms again. We have the constant. Madali lang itong constant. So, values that don't change. Constant. So, gender in a class of all boys is constant. Bakit constant ang gender? Because it is an all boys. So, ano ang dito? Constant gender, which is all boys. So, meaning to say, iisa lang ang values. Kapag variable naman, it is a characteristics or property of population or sample which makes the members different. So, ano yung different from each other? Example, the gender of all students at Aldersgate College. So, mixed na siya. Pwedeng male, pwedeng female. Therefore, it is a variable. Pero pag sinabi natin, like for example, kanina, yung number 1, kapag all boys, syempre, constant. Kasi nga, all boys. Variable naman dito is halo. So, dependent naman, a variable which is affected by the another variable. From the word itself, it is depending. Maapektuhan siya kapag nagbago yung the one that it is depending from. Example, midterm test scores in math in the modern world. So, it is dependent. Number 2, independent naman, a variable which affects the dependent variable. So, it will always happen first. So, pag independent, it is the one that always happens first. Yun yung natatandaan nyo. Ano? So, number of hours spent in studying. So, it is an independent variable. Okay? Here, so identify the independent and dependent variable of this statement. A science student wants to know the amount of sunlight needed for the growth of a specific plant. So, ito yung mga magiging natin. What you call this activity. Ano? So, you may try to answer. I-post nyo na lang, then screenshot para may activity tayong gagawin when we do it face to face. Number 2. Number 3. Yeah, that's the end of our slide. So, yung mga examples dito, i-post nyo na lang, tapos i-try nyo yung sagutan. Para pagbalik na, pag nag-meet tayo face to face, pag diniscuss natin to, madali na lang natin gawin. So, that's it. Thank you for listening.